Hello to everybody. Today I'm talking about the concept of time lords in Hellenistic astrology and how they affect our life cycles. There are some techniques, very powerful, developed by ancient astrologers to discover the cycle patterns of life. Time lords are the system of ruling planets that govern specific periods in a person's life, revealing themes, challenges, opportunities that unfold over time. In this package of Time Lord techniques, we have Zodiacal Releasing, Annual Perfections, and Firdaria. The Time Lord system maps these fluctuations by assigning planetary rulers to different time periods in a person's life and depends on the method used. This method brings its own agenda. If you have ever wondered why some years feels like a storm and others like a breeze, Time Lords can offer an answer. Why these techniques are powerful? Because it explains long-term themes that transcend daily transits. Because it helps you plan realistically when to launch, when to rest, when to reflect, or when to take action. It reveals the emotional and spiritual weather of your life. It shows when a planet in your chart will become more active or dormant. So let's explore the most popular Time Lord systems from the Hellenistic tradition point of view. What I want to point out here that it's very important to know your chart, because if you are not sure about the moment of birth time, I mean the hour and minute, will be complicated to use these techniques, because the information that you will receive should be based by using and by having and by knowing very well which is your correct natal chart. Zodiacal Releasing. It's a Time Lord technique that divides your life into chapters and subchapters, like a novel, like a book. It's book of life, of your life. It is based on the lot of spirit for career and action, or lot of fortune for health and other circumstances, and uses the signs of the zodiac to assign planetary rulers over the time. How it works? Each zodiac sign is assigned a time span. The first major period is ruled by the planet ruling the sign that contains your lot of spirit. Each major period is subdivided into smaller and smaller parts, like a fractal. What you can learn from it? The peak periods, the times when your potential shines. Loosing of the bond, it means turning points, endings, or dramatic changes. Silent periods, times of reflection or pause. For example, if your lot of spirit is in Sagittarius, you'll start life in a Jupiter period. If Jupiter is well placed in your chart, you may experience a strong, expansive opening to life. Another technique, Annual Perfection. This technique is a simple but potent technique that assigns a new house and thus a new planetary ruler to each year of your life, from the one anniversary to another. How it works? For example, at age 0, the moment you have been born, you start in the first house, your rising sign, your ascendant. The age 1, you move to the second house, and so on. Every 12 years, the cycle repeats, and each house is ruled by a planet. So what you can learn from this technique? The perfections ruler of the year reveals the theme and the ruling planet. Transits to the profected house or ruler are more significant. For example, if you are turning 25 years old, you are in the second house year. This ruler of the second house becomes the time lord of that year, and themes around money, self-worth, and possessions are activated. It's important also that ruler of the house, that planet that is ruling the second house, for example, in the perfection chart, it's important to see how it's working already in your natal chart. If your perfected ruler is having a major transit, like a Saturn return, that year becomes extra important. Another technique, very important, Firdaria. This technique is born in Persian tradition and later taken up by medieval astrologers. Firdaria also appears in late Hellenistic frameworks. It divides its life into long periods ruled by planets based on whether you were born during the day or night. How it works? Day birth starts with the sun, night birth with the moon. So it's about diurnal chart, nocturnal chart. Each planet rules for a specific number of years. Each main period is subdivided into sub-periods ruled by other planets. What you can learn from this technique? Long-term planetary influence, underlying emotional or spiritual cycles. For example, a person that have a diurnal chart, it means that this Firdaria starts with the sun period. So this kind of person, it's important where the sun is in the chart, in which house, what kind of aspect is forming with other planets and points in the natal chart. And generally speaking, this kind of person is more extrovert. It needs to be more social, more in the society. So it's important to know, for example, by parents, that they have a child that has a diurnal chart. And the first period of Firdaria is ruled by sun. It means that this child should be put in the situation, and the education should be a little bit quite different than for a person that have nocturnal chart, and the first start of the period of the Firdaria is ruled by the moon. So these techniques are not just theoretical. You can use it practically. For example, forecast major life themes. See which planet is ruling your year or decade. What house does it rule? What aspects does it make? Track your turning points. Identify loosing of the bond in Zodiacal Releasing technique, or Saturn returns aligned with the Time Lord period. Understand past events. Look back at key moments and find which planet was the Time Lord. Patterns will emerge. Plan better. It means that align your projects with empowerment Time Lords. Avoid forcing brings during silent or obstructed periods. What is very beautiful about Time Lords is that they reveal that life has seasons. You are not meant to bloom all the time. Some years are about sowing seeds, others about reaping, and some about rest. Time Lords give you permission to honor where you are and to trust the unfolding of time. And for the beginners in practicing these techniques, it's better to start with annual perfection because it's the easiest technique that you can use and is very useful. Then you can explore Zodiacal Releasing for career questions and using a lot of spirit. Also, you can use Firdaria for life review to understand decade long terms over the time in your life. That's why it's very useful, no matter what, to keep a diary tracking your Time Lord each year. So, understanding Time Lords is like learning the choreography of your soul journey during the time. Instead of stumbling in the dark and wondering what the hell I'm doing with my life, you can begin to move with rhythm, flow, and purpose. In a world obsessed by short-term transits, Time Lords offer a timeless lens, a way to live in a long-term strategy. So next time when you feel stuck or unsure about your life direction, ask yourself, who is my Time Lord right now? And the answer may just enlighten and give you the answer. So what kind of technique is more useful for you? What kind of technique is better for you? Because each person that's practicing astrology is not using all the techniques, because it's quite impossible, and maybe some of techniques are more effective for you and gave you more or better results, especially for you or for your friends or whatever they are. I'm waiting your questions and comments down below, and tell me what kind of technique do you want me to put more attention and give more information on my YouTube channel. I wish you all the best. Bye bye.